Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this unnamed podcast. My name is Mason Smith,
And I'm Ian Boyd.
and today we're going to talk about some football.
Woo!
So, in case you haven't heard, the NFL Divisional Round playoffs happened this past weekend. And so the first game we want to talk about was the first one that happened, the Chiefs and the Colts. The Chiefs came out on top 31-13 in a game that really wasn't as close as the final score shows. Andrew Luck was 19 of 36, 203 yards and a touchdown. Marlon Mack, their stud running back, only had 46 yards on 9 carries. Patrick Mahomes looked fine, 27 of 41 with 278 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. But really, the star of the game was Damian Williams, 25 carries, 129 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, no one really saw that one coming. I think we all wanted this game to be closer, but they just didn't have a chance. This Colts team came out and they played like a number 1 seed.
Yeah, and I thought the Colts riding a hot streak might do at least a little bit better than this, but just from the beginning, even with the blocked punt, they couldn't capture any of the momentum or the energy.
Now, there's another crucial third down that Andrew Luck fumbled it. It was a strip sack, and it's just they were in a scoring opportunity, and they just blew it. That's kind of the whole game for them.
They just blew their opportunities. So the question I want to ask you about this game, is Patrick Mahomes the MVP of the league?
I mean, if he's not, who is?
I mean, people talked about Drew Brees maybe being in the running, and outside of him, I don't think there's anyone else that you could consider for it.
I mean, 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. I mean, this is his first full year, too. He played amazingly, and I think that it goes to him over Drew Brees.
I do too, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, the MVP is all about the regular season, but they don't do the votes or count them until after the postseason. So these games really do matter in the minds of voters. Whether or not they're going to consciously vote on it, these are important games. And this was a decent game for Patrick Mahomes, even though it's a little under his standard, under 300 yards, no touchdowns, but still, he didn't turn the ball over. He looked like he was in command of the offense most of the game. This looks like a really dominant Chiefs team.
It really does, and he almost played more as an Alex Smith in this game than a Patrick Mahomes, which worked out fine because they had a great rushing attack. But that's what you got to do to win these playoff games.
Absolutely. As far as receiving yards, Travis Kelce, 7 catches, 108 yards. He looked good. Tyreek Hill had 8 for 72 and a 36-yard rushing touchdown. This was an all-over team effort that was led by Patrick Mahomes. And, yeah. Here's a creative transition. So here's the next game. The Los Angeles Rams took on the Dallas Cowboys and held on to a 30-22 lead. It was a blowout at the beginning. The Cowboys came back and got oh so close until the Rams just held on. I thought the surprising stat of the game was C.J. Anderson for the Rams, because we all knew Todd Gurley was a studly running back. The dude had 23 carries and 123 yards.
The crazy thing is both of them had 100 yards. They both were over 100 yards and had a touchdown at least. But C.J. Anderson played like I don't even remember him on another NFL team. It's been a long time since he's got this kind of role.
He was the starter on the Denver Broncos a couple years ago, but he wasn't that great there. And this is amazing. And I don't want to take away anything from Todd Gurley's success, of course. This dude's an amazing running back. But if C.J. Anderson can get that many yards behind this offensive line, maybe we should start giving some more credit to the guys up front for the Rams.
Definitely. And that would probably have to go to Whitworth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Finally getting rid of that playoff drought.
He won his first playoff game. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
So, yeah, Jared Goff finished 15 of 28 for 186 yards. The Cowboys had Dak Prescott finish 20 of 32, 266 yards and a touchdown. The team just didn't look great.
They didn't, but they also put themselves in a position to play, but it didn't look like they ever really had a chance to win.
Yeah, there was really no point. I mean, when they got up 7-3, you thought this could be a possible upset, which is I predict the Cowboys to get the upset. That looks bad in retrospect.
I went with the Rams, so
looking back at just the Rams' overall domination of this team after that one touchdown, they couldn't get anything going for a long time. And so is it time to get rid of Jason Garrett?
Ooh. I think that most Cowboy fans either love him or hate him, but I say you can't get rid of him now because a lot of the coaches have already picked their new coaching jobs, and I'm not really sure who they would want to elevate up there.
I understand. There's still maybe hope that you could grab Josh McDaniels if he wants to go to Dallas, but I think he's probably stuck in New England.
Until Brady retires.
Of course. I don't think Jason Garrett helps your team, but I don't think he hurts them either. He's just kind of there.
Yeah, he's not going to win you any games, but he's not going to lose you any games by his own doing.
Exactly. He's kind of the epitome of 8-8. And I think if the Cowboys really want to win the Super Bowl, they're going to need a better coach than him. And so they have a really talented team right now. They have a strong young defense led by Van Der Esch, Jalen Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence. They have a young rushing attack with Ezekiel Elliott. Amari Cooper looks great. They need a head coach that can guide them. And frankly, they don't have it in Jason Garrett.
No.
Speaking of Ezekiel Elliott, he was practically non-existent this entire game.
Which really has to go to that Rams defensive line. Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh actually came out more than Donald in that game. He was playing like he did in Miami for a little bit, and then even before that. So.
And, we all talked about how bad the Rams' rushing defense was coming into the game, how the Cowboys were going to run over them, but they stood tall. I don't know how anyone could look over a defense that has Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh on the defensive line. That's a deadly duo.
Especially for the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of a deadly duo, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, in case you haven't heard, are in their 8th straight AFC championship.
Boo.
Boo. Boo is correct. Boo, boo, boo. Unfortunately, I know at least I was rooting for Phillip Rivers. I think he deserves
I don't think
a ring.
anyone wasn't. He's now 0-8 against Tom Brady all time. It's sad.
Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, another normal showing for him, 34 for 44, 343 yards and a touchdown. Sony Michel was the star of this game, having 3 touchdowns, 129 yards. The guy was running over everyone in the Chargers secondary.
Yeah, which the Patriots just exploited what the Chargers do on defense and used that kind of speed and a little bit undersized against them and just said, we're just going to run the football every single play. And then when you expect the run, we're just going to throw it deep. And that's exactly what they did. Edelman still does what he does best, which is just somehow keep going.
Yeah, and against the Ravens, who were a run-heavy team, the Chargers were able to shut down everything they did on the ground game. And it was just incredible. The whole team came together, stopped the run. I don't even remember. I don't know if they had 100 rushing yards together. They were absolutely dominated. But in this game, they just couldn't stop anything. The Patriots looked smarter. They looked faster. They just looked better, like they always do. Phillip Rivers finished 25 for 51, over 50 passing attempts, 331 yards, and 3 touchdowns with a pick. Melvin Gordon had a touchdown, but he had 9 carries for 15 yards. Their rushing attack was non-existent in this game. And so, are we underrating the Patriots again?
It happens every year. The first 5 games, people are like, this Patriots team, it's finally the end of an era. And then Belichick's just like, no, wait, give me some time. I'll fix the defense. Tom Brady will still be making those throws that we thought that he doesn't have anymore because he's over 40. They're going to win again. It's just...
Every year we talk about, oh, man, Brady's older, he's tired, they don't have the weapons like they do. They lost Josh Gordon. Gronkowski had looked worse than he has. I think, what were Gronk's numbers? He had a great game, didn't he? He had 1 catch for 25 yards. Okay,
Never mind.
He was a little less existent than I thought he was. But he looked good. He made a lot of important blocks for at least Sony Michel.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you just can't get rid of this Patriots team. They just keep fighting against time. And
every year.
I don't know if they're as good as the Chiefs or if they're as good as the Saints or the Rams, but I don't think you can say they can't compete anymore because I didn't think they looked as good as the Chargers.
The record didn't even show they looked as good as the Chargers, but they went out there and they whooped the Chargers. Chargers didn't have a chance all game. I don't even think Tom Brady really got touched during the game.
Mm-hmm.
Phillip Rivers, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure there wasn't a down where he wasn't throwing it out of bounds.
Honestly, the final of that game was 41-28 Patriots, in case we didn't say it before. But the Patriots were up 5 scores at one point in the game.
They went for it on 4th and 1, just morale just crushing of the other team.
It was absolutely horrible. And you just feel for Phillip Rivers, a guy who's been in the NFL for what feels like forever, a guy who you feel like has done everything the right way for a long time. Just a great guy.
Now, you don't think this is his retirement tour, is it?
I hope not. the Chargers have everything surrounding them. I mean, they have a great receiving core with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They have great runners in Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler. This defense is solid, other than what it showed yesterday. I really hope this isn't the end of Phil, because he still looks really good. The last game that was played was between the Saints and the Eagles, and the Eagles came into this game with way too much momentum.
A scary amount of momentum, like we saw it again last year momentum.
With Nick Foles coming in, and I had this uneasy feeling about the Eagles coming in and winning. I still took the Saints because I thought they were the better team. Just that uneasy feeling with them sitting there. The Saints ended up winning 20-14 off of a bad drop by Alshon Jeffrey. Nick Foles had 201 yards on 18 completions, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks.
That one pick isn't his, though. That was the bad, by the best hands in the league receiver, as he claimed.
Yep. If you didn't see it, Nick Foles threw a gorgeous pass through the hands of Alshon Jeffrey and into, was it Marcus Lattimore's hands?
It was Lattimore's hands.
Who caught it for the pick that ended the game. It was an exciting game from start to finish. And so my question to you is, after another miraculous playoff berth and a win in the wild card, who's the starting quarterback for the Eagles in 2019?
It's got to be Wentz. I mean, I know Foles does a lot, but he's coming on 29 years old soon. His contract's running out. Both of their contracts are running out. But it's hard to bet against Foles. I want him on the team, but I'm not sure if he's a starter. He might just be that postseason guy that can just win it.
I agree. And, I mean, I don't fully agree. The way that I see it, and I definitely don't want to make this comparison, but it's the closest thing that I can think of right now to what's going on in Philadelphia. Drew Bledsoe was a solid starting quarterback in New England. Wow. He was really, really solid. And then he got injured, and the backup came in and took him and won them a Super Bowl. And that guy was Tom Brady. And now I'm definitely not calling Nick Foles Tom Brady. That's why I don't want to make the comparison. He's not Tom Brady. But it feels very eerily similar, does it not?
It feels similar, except the one major contributing factor is age. If Foles were younger, I would say go with Foles, but he's getting to that age where, are you going to be the starter of a team, or are you going to be the backup for life? And that's a decision they will have to make, but you got to go with Wentz, that first-round talent a few years ago.
Yes. I think you have to go with Foles. At least just see what you have in him, because we talk about 29. Quarterbacks are playing until they're 40. This could be another decade of Nick Foles. I mean, maybe you let Carson heal, throw him in for a couple of games and see what you have, but I really think Nick Foles has proven he deserves to be the starting quarterback on this team. I mean, he's one caught pass away from maybe taking his team to a second straight NFC championship game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's hard to argue.
It is Foles. You never know what he can do.
Absolutely. The Saints, Drew Brees, the other MVP candidate we talked about, finished 28 for 38, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an early pick that started the Eagles' momentum very early.
Yeah.
And
as soon as I saw that pick, I was like, oh my gosh, the Eagles are actually going to do it.
And, you know, we're not talking about this enough. The Eagles scored 14 points on their 2 drives, and they didn't score anything for the rest of the game.
Yeah, just once you have that momentum up and then you let Drew Brees, who's already a great quarterback and has proven himself to win the Super Bowl and other great things throughout the playoffs, you let them have a chance to get back. Not even being able to kick a field goal throughout the whole rest of the game changed that Philadelphia defense, because they couldn't get anything done because the offense wasn't giving them any time to.
And Sean Payton going for it on 4th down to get that touchdown early, that was a big momentum change, and the Eagles were just never able to capitalize. But Mercedes-Benz Superdome, that's a hard place to play. The atmosphere there is incredible, and so I'm really interested to see the Rams go there and take them on for the NFC Championship game. So, speaking of that, Rams versus Saints. It's going to be Saturday at 3:05 p.m. Who you got?
Ooh, as much as I love the Saints, I really don't want to see Drew Brees necessarily win the Super Bowl, because I know if he's going to win the Super Bowl. But I'm going to trust in the Rams, being Sean McVay still getting interesting like he was last week, keeping them alive enough. This is a much worse defense than the Dallas Cowboys defense. So I'm going to take the Rams, but barely, probably by a field goal.
Yeah. Just put it out there. I don't like the Saints. I'm a diehard Falcons fan. I'm even wearing red in the studio today. I feel like the Saints are probably going to pull it out. The Eagles team isn't great when you look at it on paper. They just, I don't know what they do in the playoffs. They just get bigger than they actually are. I think the Saints are going to pull this one out. They're at home, and they're a better team than the Rams. We saw them beat the Rams earlier in the season. Michael Thomas is a great receiver. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. I felt like they never really got rolling until the second or third quarter, and I don't know if that's going to happen again. You can't count on a slow start to keep your team in it. So I am rooting so hard for the Rams. Rams, please, please, please prove me wrong, but I really think the Saints are going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. On the other side of the league, we have the Patriots visiting the Chiefs on Sunday at 6:40. Who's your pick?
It's hard to go against the Patriots, so I'm not going to. Tom Brady, Belichick, what is it going to be? However many in a row appearances in the Super Bowl. This team always gets underrated, as we said earlier. What they did to Phillip Rivers showed that, and it will be close like the game that they had earlier in the season against the Chiefs, but with the Patriots still winning.
If the Patriots win this one, then the last time we didn't see the Patriots in the Super Bowl was when Peyton Manning was still playing in Super Bowl 50. It's been that long since we haven't had the Patriots in a Super Bowl.
Wow.
I agree with you. This Chiefs team looks better on paper, but so did the Chargers. I think playoff atmosphere and experience comes back and bites Mahomes in the butt. Maybe he throws a bad pick. The Patriots have a good secondary. Devin McCourty, Jason McCourty. I think the Patriots probably pull this one out by a touchdown or so. I can't count on the Chiefs quite yet.
I want the Chiefs to win.
Oh, yeah.
We both want the Chiefs to win. No more Patriots, but they're going to win.
I would much rather see a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl than a Saints-Patriots because as a Falcons fan, watching that in Atlanta, I might cry. No, I'm sorry. I would cry.
It wouldn't be as bad as Super Bowl 51.
That was bad. All right. I've got the Saints. He's got the Rams, but we both have the Patriots. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm Mason.
This is Ian.
And we'll see you next time.